basic definition of digital transformation. In short, at times it's called as DT or DX. No? So according to Wikipedia, it's actually the use of fast and emerging, frequently changing digital technology to solve problems. So it applies not only to businesses, but also for individuals. No? So kanina na-share nung ating ni Valerie, our former speaker, na gusto nating mag-hail ng taxi or Grab through technology as an individual, it makes our lives easier. For businesses naman, it is the use of technology and also, of course, the internet to make their business grow and their processes more efficient so that they can make informed strategies sa business nila and decision making. So the question is, why should I learn digital transformation? So number one is to understand its framework on how to transform yourself or your business digitally, again, for personal and business growth. And second, to leverage on this knowledge, especially sa mga students or young individuals for future career path. No? Kasi as we all know, if we are knowledgeable with these technologies, somehow matagal na tong in. Yung sabi natin na pag alam natin yung technology, then meron tayong leverage and advantage over others. No? And then of course, when we are talking to people and they mention, say, Shopify, Trello, SEO, at least hindi tayo ma-OP because we are familiar with this technology buzzwords and brands na ginagamit natin na mga online platforms. Yeah. So the question is, how do I know this? Quick introduction. This is my milestones, career-wise. So I started my business back in 2001. I'm actually a software architect. If you can see here, nag-start kami sa small condo unit lang sa Makati. So we developed an accounting software. So after 2 or 3 years, na-build namin yung software na yon. Actually, we were the first online accounting platform, fully online. At that time kasi, ini-install pa yung mga software, yung tawag na on-premise na installation ng software. But the ones that we built was an online-based or cloud-based. So by 2004, we started hiring. And long story short, by 2012, at that time kasi when we started, it's a different company name. But by 2012, I established Hillsoft Inc. It's actually a software company that sells and develops, sells, and then distributes ERP systems, CRM, and whatnot. But fast forward, before pandemic, I made an intentional decision to sell the company and somehow, quote-unquote, semi-retire. So at the present, what I'm doing now is more on sharing my knowledge and experience about digital transformation and my experience about business processes and business process automation. So I'm currently based in Lipa, Batangas, and I have a co-working space there where I do my coaching, my seminars. Ito, actually, isa rin sa passion ko is music. So I also play music there. And then on top of that, I have self-paced courses all about business processes, from HR, accounting, operations, and whatnot. Yun. So these are my past implementation, as mentioned earlier, where we implemented business process automation. So to name a few, yung commissaries of 7-Eleven, Dinata, and some, these brands I worked with in the past 20 plus years. Yan. So these are some pictures. These are team of developers, back then. This is implementation of automation also with our government agency DTI, where we implemented the supplies and inventory management system, and actually also HRIS in the head office of DTI and all regions in the Philippines. But anyway, so I'll jump to the main topic. So when we talk about digital transformation, I frame it like from stage 1 to stage 4, meaning it's not advisable, or I don't recommend to jump into stage 3 or stage 4 without really, building the foundation. So let's dive deeper here, one by one. So for stage 1, as a small business owner, I think you have to consider setting up your infra. Okay? So may tinatawag na on-premise, may tinatawag na cloud. So when we talk about on-premise infra, of course, alam natin ito lahat. Kailangan natin ng desktop, laptop, now mobile phones. And then from those hardware, we also need software licenses. As you know, meron tayong Windows, Mac, meron pang mga Linux and others. Then we also need an internet connection, of course, mobile data if we have, field operations, para yung mga tao natin can also access the internet. And then if you have an office, you have to set up, physical network, tinatawag na LAN or local area network, and Wi-Fi routers. And then on top of that, we also consider servers so that some files should be centralized, and then yung printer natin, for example, are also centralized. And then meron ding cybersecurity aspect where we also protect our system. As we know, very mga hacking ngayon and mga spammers and scammers. So we really also have to protect our equipment and our technology and infra against those attacks. And then one important thing also that we need on-premise is the backup system. So ito naman yung we have to acquire some external drives, and we have to really safe keep it. As you may know, yung one of our agencies is also like mandating yung tinatawag nating digital privacy. So it's also important to establish those types of processes within your company. Alright, so let's jump naman dun sa kanina, on-premise. Then, second is the cloud infra. So, nandun pa rin tayo sa stage 1. So, first is that I always strongly recommend to have your own domain name or your website. Kasi it somehow builds credibility of our brand. Kasi, siguro you also encountered this na once we set up a company, most of us use lang our personal emails. Pagka ganun kasi, there's somehow an impact na, baka fly-by-night lang tong company na to and whatnot. Of course, practically speaking, maybe we don't do that because we are not aware na, how to do it. So, in this talk, I hope I can give insight kasi hindi naman siya ganun kamahal. So, number one, if you buy a domain, may mga hosting platforms like GoDaddy or Bluehost where you can pay like $5 to $10 lang yan per year. Depende dun sa domain name natin. Of course, pag yung medyo common name, mas mahal or minsan hindi na siya available. Sa mga website naman, marami ng mga website builders na very easy to develop or implement. Now, you don't need to be a developer to launch your own website anymore. And then ang cost niyan around $5 to $10 lang per month. And then third, of course, yung business email. So instead of using like dennishilario@gmail.com, better if we have like dennis@businessname.com, something like that. And then naman, we subscribe to platforms like Google Suite and Microsoft 365 as options to have your own business email. Marami pa yan actually. You can search naman sa Google what are other options on top of Google Suite and Microsoft. But ito yung commonly used globally. Okay. So next are cloud drives. Sabi natin traditionally, meron tayong file server. Kanina yung example natin sa on-premise. Pag sinabi kasi on-premise is within the office. So it's also important na meron din tayong cloud drive that we use as a backup or file. Doon natin dinadrop yung mga files ng company. better if you can establish a structure na pwedeng shareable across your employees, kung ano yung mga shareable data and information for across the board. So yung mga platforms naman dyan ang ginagamit is yung Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive naman for Microsoft. Another aspect here is yung collaboration tools. Ito yung mga task management, project management. I think na-mention kanina ni Valerie about yung sa Slack, Trello, and whatnot. So, maganda dito is that ang isang advantage kasi of using collaboration tools as opposed to using mga chat like mga Viber is that nado-document natin lahat. All the communication, yung mga files, etc. is well documented. Kasi pag nasa Viber lang yan, as you know, nadidelete yan after so many days, something like that. So it's important na to consider learning these tools to make things more professional and make your organization more efficient, as I said. Okay, so basically that's the stage 1. Pag na-establish natin yon, the on-premise part and the cloud part, then we're ready now for stage 2. Kasi yung stage 2 is more on about our team or about the people. Kasi ito yung common na na-overlook ng businesses. Ang ginagawa kasi ng mga business owners is that, basta binibigay lang yung technology without any orientation or any training about or parang culture change and mindset about the technologies na ini-implement natin. So pag kasi gano'n ang approach natin, we overlook those things, then these technologies will not be utilized better. Kasi nga hindi nila na ma-maximize because they don't know. And as you may know, there's a lot of implementation of technology na nagfi-fail because ino-overlook nila yung people side. So my point here is that coming up with a process whereby we introduce the proper mindset to employees. Bakit natin ginagawa itong digital transformation? So that they themselves appreciate the tools. At the same time, may utilize nila properly yung technology. Ang problem lang dyan is that, of course, it comes with a cost. Kasi number one, syempre mag-i-implement ng digital transformation should be knowledgeable. So, ang options natin dito is that either we hire somebody or train somebody and assign it to them to manage the technology. And then, when I say hire, it can be in-house, it can also be outsourced. Alright, so yung third item here is yung digital policies. Okay, so of course, for example, yung management of users. Kasi syempre, pag nag-introduce tayo ng tools like Trello or tools like Asana for project management, pag wala tayong policy, then anyone can access it. So nako-compromise yung data privacy natin. At the same time, pag may nagre-resign, tas may pumapalit, walang exchange or proper turnover na nangyayari. So it's important to have this digital policies or IT policies that you also implement. Kung meron tayong policies sa operations, dapat sa IT side, meron din tayong policies. And then last but not least, of course, yung nabanggit ko kanina, it's important to have employee training. And hindi lang to one-time employee training. It has to be a continuous thing because, as you know, technology always change. So the technology changes, we also have to catch up as users ng mga technology na iyon. Alright, so yun yung stage 2. So once done, then that's the time we consider now yung business process automation. So ano ba to? Okay. So it's actually the process of streamlining yung mga different business processes through the use of technology like enterprise resource planning, accounting software, payroll, and whatnot. Ang main objective is, again, for business growth and better decision making for strategy. Kasi I think it all boils down dun sa stage 4 later, and nabanggit ng ating former speaker, yung data. No? Ang reason kung bakit natin ini-implement to, because at the end of the day, meron tong output, and the output is the data about what's happening in the business and yung mga analytics and insights that we get out from the business. Kasi actually, pag maliit ka lang, maliit pa lang yung business mo, pwede pa actually, using Google Spreadsheet and whatnot. Pero as the business grows and scale, it's really difficult to have an on-time data and insights. Pagka ganun, too late na for us to decide on strategies. For example, nakita natin, ang laki na pala ng expenses natin sa payroll na hindi naman natin na-fully utilize, di ba? So, something like that. Pag late na yung information na yon, and then we are like, there's a lot of profit leaks in the business. Alright, so, ano ba yung mga basic steps, no, in implementing business process automation? Number one is commitment of the owner. Alright, so, again, this is yung one of the issues, no, bakit nag-fail ang automation. Kasi ang ginagawa ng owner, na-realize niya, kailangan ko pala ng software na ganito, and then pinapasa niya lang dun sa employee, and then he or she expects na that employee can deliver on its own, ano? Which is, pag walang push ng owner kasi, I don't think that will be successful. Second is yung business process. Okay? Yung mga software na binibili natin, like accounting, CRM, etc., tools lang yan di ba? At the end of the day, meron tinatawag na business process na you have to concretize even before deciding on what software to buy. No? Kasi yung business process na yon should not be entirely dependent on the software. Ibig sabihin, kahit wala yung software, kailangan nagra-run pa din yung business. So, ang ginagawa dyan is that, of course, there are best practices when it comes to business processes. For example, yung procurement to payment process. Paano ba ako bibili? Ano ba yung mga form na, gagamitin ko to procure items? Ano yung form na gagamitin ko to receive goods, to pay the supplier, and whatnot. Ano? So, yung business processes na yun, ideally should be in a form of a flowchart or documented process na sinasign off yan ng mga teams at the same time ng business owner, and then before implementing the software. So step 3 is we have to identify and define our forms. Yung nabanggit ko kanina, from purchase request, purchase order, sales invoice, payslip, and whatnot. Ano? Actually, medyo broad tong topic na to, but this is just a high level. No? Then step 4 is choose the right team and or a partner. So, meaning, it's also critical that meron tayong somebody in-house, it can be you as the business owner, who is going to implement it. If not, a third-party vendor or service provider that can help you in doing these things. No? And then after that, pag na-match na natin yung process do sa software, iti-test natin yon, nagkakaroon ng mga development and customizations, and then pag okay na yung test, then may user training, and then magde-decide na kayo kung kailan ang go live or effectivity ng start ng use of the software. So basically, these are steps. No? Pero after the go live, wala lang dito, pero meron din yung mga iterations, no? Mga maintenance and improvements further. Okay, just to give you like a grand scheme of business processes, no, in a typical business, meron tayong iba-ibang departments like marketing, sales, human resources. So nandun yung sa marketing, of course, yung website, social media management, paid ads, SEO. No? Sa sales naman, depending on your industry, may CRM, ito yung commonly yung mga B2B, or even retail actually. No? E-commerce naman, if you want to sell online, POS, if you have like brick and mortar stores, like a cafe or a restaurant, kung ano ka naman, hospitality, like hotels, or meron tayong hotel reservation management, and then loyalty management naman, yan yung mga Starbucks card na ini-implement natin. Ano. Sa HR naman, nandun yung HRIS or Human Resource Information System, timekeeping and payroll. Actually, marami pa yan. Meron pang training management, meron pang performance management and whatnot. No? And then, we have the back office. So, back office, may accounting, procurement, inventory management, operations naman, again, depending on your industry, may distribution, ito yung logistics part and warehousing, job order, pag meron tayong manufacturing, project management for construction companies, help desk support naman for service. No? And then, of course, yung pinakang business intelligence natin, ito yung pinakang grand prize ng business process automation. Meron tayong data and insights na nakikita. So imagine, depending on the size of the business, it's so difficult to track all the ins and outs and transactions and mga information pag wala tayong ini-implement na automation or processes, no? Or we're not doing the digital transformation. Pag manual lahat to, it's really difficult to track everything, no? Yun. So, I'll dive deeper dun sa individual things, no? But I'll make it quick kasi limited time lang tayo. So, sabi natin, we have sa digital marketing side, merong mga website, SEO. Of course, part of it is yung content marketing nga. Part of it is also email. No? Itong mga sample platform sa email is MailChimp, Sendinblue. Actually, Sendinblue, nagbago na yung pangalan yan. I just forgot. No? Social media naman, as you know, Facebook, Instagram. Pay-per-click, ito yung mga Google Ads, Facebook Ads, TikTok Ads, YouTube Ads, etc. And then meron ding aspect of influencer marketing or affiliate marketing. So ito yung makikita natin mga influencers na sa TikTok, for example, na may mga affiliate links. No? So that can also be implemented as a business and offering it to influencers. Sa sales naman, we have for e-commerce, mga options natin yung mga website builders like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. Pag naman yung mga CRM for leads management, common ginagamit yung Salesforce, Zoho, Sugar CRM. Pag sa POS, meron tayong mga local versions, no? Like yung Utak POS, was this Store Hub, Alliance POS. No? Loyalty platforms naman is yung mga nakikita nating mga Share Treats, Zap, or yung katulad ng ginagamit ni SM Advantage. No? Sa booking apps, as kung ikaw if you're in the food business and you'd like to, adapt yung online ordering, you can onboard your business dito sa Grab and Foodpanda. You can also develop your own booking system. No? May mga platforms like I forgot, Gloria Food, na madali mag-implement ng sariling booking system. Kasi pag dito sa mga Foodpanda and Grab, meron tong mga share, meron revenue share sina Grab at kakain sa margins natin. Okay, so sa HR naman, we have, na-mention ko yung HRIS timekeeping, meron tayong local software provider like si Sprout. And then, pag mga recruitment on board, actually meron din si Sprout yan, but you can also use some other tools like Lark, Notion, Airtable, Trello, etc. Same thing with the training and performance management. Yun. Sa ERP naman, we have, ito yung one of the two of the pioneers sa ERP system, ng SAP and Oracle. So doon naman yung complete modules in a typical business from order fulfillment, purchasing, inventory, and etc. We have NetSuite also and Odoo. Nakikita mo yan sa billboard dyan sa Skyway. So these are some options. Of course, meron din tayong mga local versions. Yung company ko before na I sold, which is all still existing, yung Hillsoft, also implement ERP systems. Sa accounting naman, actually yung ERP may accounting module yon, but if you're a smaller business, you can opt to implement yung parang somehow smaller versions of ERP. or accounting. Yun yung mga Xero, QuickBooks. I'm sure some of you have heard that. Ano? Okay, so that's the stage 3. So pag na-automate na natin lahat, nakaka-capture natin yung transactions seamlessly, nag-improve na yung process natin, then the next step na is the holy grail of the digital transformation, which is yung performance management. No? And it's difficult to fine-tune or optimize your operations, your business, if you don't have the data. So yung mga technology naman na ini-implement natin dyan, yung tinatawag na BI or Business Intelligence, mga options like Jasper Reports, Crystal Reports, Tableau, and then yung topic natin kanina, AI, like yung kay ChatGPT, which is owned by the company OpenAI. As you know, may mga voice commands na. Imagine like, if you're driving and you'd like to know how much is your sales today or last month, so through AI, just, ask a custom GPT, kasi you can create a custom GPT, your own version of ChatGPT ng data na kinukuha niya is from your business. No? So, how much is my sales today? While you're driving, diba? If you're worried. And then, AI will just tell you, or this is your sales today, and so on. So, those are the things that we can use. And also, meron din kasing aspect of, even the AI can help you give the insights and give you recommendations on what to do based on your data. So that's also a very exciting thing, that's gonna happen, if not already happening in our world. Yun. All right, so I think that's about it. I'm so I feel privileged to be invited here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You can know about me through my website, dennisseminary.com, my Facebook. Actually, I also have IG, name it, TikTok, YouTube. You can see me there. But take note, once you visit my website, hindi na kita tatantanan. Lahat ng ads ko, makikita ka na. Makikita mo na pala, sorry. Yung tinatawag naman na retargeting or remarketing sa Facebook ads. No? Ayun, I think we're done.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis, for that presentation. So, we'll now move into the Q&A segment. So, if you haven't already, sa mga participants natin, feel free to type your questions in our chat box. So, Abby, meron ba tayong first question na?
Yes, there actually, Sir Dennis, there are people who message us directly. So, first question is, for stage 1, I think this could also be applied for stage 3. What security measures are in place to protect our data?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. There's a lot of layers kasi ng security. If I dive deeper, sa technical side, medyo mahirap i-explain. Pero yung pinaka-basic is number 1 is you have to have a data security policy. So outside yun sa technology, paano, ano dapat yung process of pagbibigay ng mga users dun sa mga platforms, ano ba yung mga rights nila or roles nila, ano ba yung mga restrictions na hindi nila pwedeng ma-access and what not. So that's the first level. The second level, yun na yung mga mitigation tools ng mga online attacks. For example, yung mga antiviruses, yung mga anti-spam technologies and what not. And then yung another layer naman, if you are, for example, actually depende rin yan how critical your data na you protect. So like for example sa financing or sa mga banks, of course dapat global standards yung mga cyber security that they implement. So may tinatawag na mga SOC and yung mga tinatawag na yung mga virtual protection na ini-implement natin sa mga yan. Para kang may security guard, gano'n, na virtual, na online, na nag-check kung may mga intrusions ba doon sa platforms natin.
Alright. Actually, sir, there's a follow-up question pa related
Sure.
to that. How is the data backup and recovery handled naman daw po?
Data backup and recovery, usually, yung mga platforms naman, most of them may mga embedded na backup systems, no. Some of them it comes with a premium price, And then pwede ring may option na automatically it will be sent to your email or to your cloud drive. But to me, ako kasi being OC, gusto ko siya na I also download it and then store it in my own, personal physical drive. Maganda nga kung meron ka pang backup sa bahay in a vault, better. Especially kung very critical yung data that we also protect. Now, when it comes to recovery, of course may process din yan. Just take note na when you do the backup, you always test if you can restore it. Kasi does it make sense na hindi natin siya i-test? Kasi when you do the backup, tapos pag hindi mo siya tinest, by the time na nangyari yung disaster, hindi pala gumagana yung backup mo, di ba? So that's one thing, one important thing that you also consider.
Thank you for that very detailed explanation, sir. So to those who has more technical questions, again, you may visit Sir Dennis's website. He also has an ebook that you may buy.
Yeah.
But last question na lang siguro, Sir Dennis.
Sure.
For someone daw with a micro business, what ERP software would you recommend? Kasi ang dami na ngayon in the market, right?
Right. Actually, medyo tricky yung question na yan, because if you really want to have like a sophisticated, robust software, medyo expensive talaga yan. Actually, overkill yan for a micro business. Like for example, yung mga SAP na yan, pero one thing, actually yung nabanggit ko kanina si Odoo, Si Odoo meron siyang parang light version, na self-service ERP. You just register there, tapos magbabayad ka, may trial version sila na 21 days I think, or 30 days. And then ang fee lang nila some ranging from 700 to 800 pesos lang per user per month. So I think that's a cheap option. Actually, yan yung, if I have a client, yan yung usually na nire-recommend ko. Either that or QuickBooks. QuickBooks also is a good option. Though ang QuickBooks may limitation Like for example, if you have multiple branches, hindi niya kaya ni QuickBooks yon. So si Odoo kaya siya, Ang maganda kay Odoo is that nandun na lahat. Actually na-miss kong i-demonstrate pala yon, yung Odoo. But feel free to navigate online. May trial version sila, tapos may mga documentation din if you want to try and use it.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis, for answering those questions and for sharing your expertise. So your talk has been incredibly insightful and practical.
Thank you as well. Thank you guys.
Thank you. So, before we officially close, we'd like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to our amazing speakers for today. Because their insights, their expertise, it's all been invaluable in guiding us through practical solutions and strategies for MSMEs. So, to show our appreciation, we are presenting each of our speakers with a plaque of appreciation. This token symbolizes our heartfelt gratitude together with our audience for today, for the time and knowledge they've shared with us today.